Hi, this is Rob Yanka with the Rubrik CDW team. I'm excited to talk to you today about who Rubrik is, what we can do together with CDW, and ultimately some of the problems we solve for our customers and the value we drive for them. I know you have a lot of nanotech videos. I know that this is a common format for you. Really today I want to make sure we're keeping it really high level and hopefully show you guys some unique things that you can show for your customers. So first things first, let's talk about who Rubrik is. Been in the market since 2015 and we've seen great success. First off, because we found ways to make a painful backup done faster, better, cheaper. If you see here, these are the multiple disparate pieces of a backup system that historically have had to run together to offer backup for our customers. What Rubrik did is basically find a way to collapse all these different pieces into one central software fabric that scales out infinitely and offers easy path to archive in the cloud. And ultimately, for your customers, that backup has been a challenge for years. We're able to solve this problem by showing them this new revolutionary product. Next, we're going to talk about how with Rubrik you can truly enable hybrid environments. I know that that's kind of a buzzword and pretty nebulous. We're going to show you exactly what that looks like with Rubrik. And then lastly, ultimately, if you're interested in talking about automation to your customers, having a unique conversation with them, we'll show you where Rubrik fits into that conversation. Ultimately, why we win, why it's important for you to put this in front of your customers versus competing against it is number one, simplicity. We've taken all these different pieces, collapsed them together, made it much easier to run. And also because we've done that, we're offering 30 to 50% cost savings versus legacy backup systems. It's a totally different way to approach it. And then ultimately we'll get into how we can get customers to the cloud and talk automation as well. So let's get into Rubrik version 1. 2015, we're new to the market. In our first year of market, we get about 300 customers. And what are we doing? So year one, we're taking VMware backups, which are connected to primary storage, and we introduced this brick. It's our name for our 2U device. All we did was give customers the ability to take VMware backups, run them through the brick for data protection, for indexing and so forth, and gave customers the ability to archive out to AWS. Simple, that's it. People are excited. We win VMworld our first year in the market. Why? Well, there's three real reasons. The first one is instant recovery. Legacy data protection systems, it requires invoking the backup software, pulling the file, maybe it's in tape, maybe it's an archive location, rehydrating it, dragging it across the network, bringing it back online. That's a long and painful process that takes hours, sometimes days. With Rubrik, we can take that down because we can run directly from the brick back into primary storage, going from hours to minutes. Instant recovery is a game changer. The next is with regard to the index. So as all the information's being backed up through Rubrik, we're indexing at a file level. Important for two major reasons. Number one is searchability. As your customer is moving data from off-prem to the cloud, to remote sites, being able to search for that and find it easily is very important. So with Rubrik, you can search for individual files. And also with regard to the cloud, if you've ever heard of cloud egress, which is the cost to bring data back from the cloud, being able to do that and do so inexpensively is very important. Because you're only pulling back one individual file from the cloud versus a large cluster, it's a much cheaper way to do that, enables cloud migration. Next, let's talk about where we went from here. So again, we win VMworld, excuse me. We are fastest ever to the Gartner Magic Quadrant, growing extremely quickly. Those same customers and new customers are like, all right, well, we love what you're doing for VMware, but we also have all these physical servers. Maybe we have physical Windows, maybe we have physical Linux. We want to get that same experience, that same resiliency, the same index, instant recovery for the physical servers as we have for our VMware environment. So we built that. More use cases, more customers, and further, we've since added all the major hypervisors, major databases, and almost everything in a customer's environment now we can back up. This is where we came from. Faster, better, cheaper way to do backup, much simpler than legacy systems, and offering a direct path to the cloud. So now this is where things get pretty interesting and a little different from maybe what you've ever heard from a backup vendor. So I'm going to draw a line real quick around the data center here. So this is your data center on-prem, this is your compute, this is your storage, and this is your Amazon cloud. So those same customers saying, all right, Rubrik, you moved my workload out to the cloud, but I don't want to bring it back on-prem to run it. I want to run it in the cloud because I have an Amazon compute EC2 instance that I already have spun up. I want to run this workload here. So I gave them the ability to do that. This is true cloud migration. And also we gave the customers the ability to run Rubrik virtually in the cloud to get the same data protection, the same resiliency, the same index, instant recovery in the cloud for Amazon. And now, very relevant to CDW, we've also since built the same stack for Azure. John Thompson, who is the chairman of the board at Microsoft, is actually on the Rubrik board, helping develop strategy and products for Rubrik that align closely with Azure. So we take blob storage and Azure Compute, virtual version of the brick as well, and we gave customers the ability to archive out to Azure. Important for you as well, it's all eligible for DPOR, and you can actually move data from cloud to cloud. Kind of Rubrik version 2. This is true what we would call hybrid infrastructure, and really the ability to automate all of this through a ServiceNow or any of those automation tools. You never even actually have to touch the Rubrik interface if you're looking to run that way. Lastly, another way to monetize this product and another way to add value for your customers is how do we take all the data that's running through Rubrik's interface and do smart things with it? Well, so we built a SaaS platform called Polaris, and basically offers a different suite of services within that. So the first product that's available is GPS. GPS is a manager of managers. We take all the information from the Rubrik that's running on-prem, all of it that's running from Rubrik in AWS, all that's running from it in Azure, and we manage all of that via GPS. Next, we can do things like pre-ransomware detection with Radar, because we're managing all the data about that data. How often does it change? Is there any indication of maybe a ransomware attack? We can do things like data classification. We can do things like disaster recovery. It's a really revolutionary way to offer value for the data for your customers. If you're interested, I hope you are. We implore you to engage us. Hopefully we can talk to some customers together and have CDW be the one to bring this thought leadership message directly to your customers. Thanks very much.